Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or duty unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnahfollowers, stream it every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnahfollowers.
Assalamu alaikum. Please mark your calendars. Starting this Friday, March 1st, we will be replacing the 6 p.m. Eastern Aqidah class, Al-Wala Wal-Bara class, with a special program for the month of Ramadan. Please join Ustada Lailanasheeba for the first 7 days of Ramadan with a preparation course. Allow her to walk you every day after that with the fiqh of fasting. Don't forget, mark your calendars, and we're streaming it right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala, wa rasulullah. Welcome to our Ramadan prep series. And alhamdulillah, guys, Ramadan is around the corner. Inshallah, next week will be the last week that we go before embarking upon this wonderful 29-day journey, which marks the journey of change for many of us. Ramadan is a very special month. In fact, it's the most special month of the year. Why? Because it's the month in which Allah is more forgiving than any other month. Also, it's the month in which any good deeds that we do are multiplied more than any other time of the year. It's the month in which Iblis himself is enchained. It's the month that contains the greatest night of the year, which is the night of decree. So, it's not something that we should fret. Unfortunately, a lot of Muslims right about now are fretting the idea that Ramadan is inshallah happening soon, you know, and it's nothing to fret. And as I was telling all the children here at my website, the children should be fasting too. Okay, we talked about how any child over the age of 7 should be fasting the month of Ramadan. You parents have to stop being so controlling and worried and fearful of your kids. Fasting is good and clean. Allah prescribed fasting as a means of making us better, stronger people, more in control of our emotions, more in control of our desires. Your children need to learn that strength. And we teach them that strength at the young age of 7 up. Those are the formative years. You want to teach your children how to conquer, you know, their inhibitions, how to conquer their fears, and how to balance. That's the main thing, how to balance life, balance emotions, balance desires, balance life. Ramadan teaches all of that. So we spent the past couple of days discussing the virtues and the benefits of Ramadan, because as a dawah, I truly believe that one of the reasons why so many Muslims are fretful of this month is because they don't understand the virtues of Ramadan. They don't understand the benefits of fasting. But alhamdulillah, yesterday and the day before, we covered that in this class. So now today, and I want everybody to be prepared to take screenshots with your cell phone, with your iPad or your computer, because today we're going to cover the etiquettes of fasting, just so that you can be aware. I got a lot of new shahadas, Sister Sandra, Sister Hope, and Priscilla, and a lot of other sisters here who are new converts to the religion. And this will be their first Ramadan. And I also have Muslims that were born and raised Muslim, but maybe they lost their fitra. You know, along their fitra has been awakened. Their fitra has been reignited, and they're going to try to fast, you know, this year. So, you know, you need to know this is just a brief class on the etiquettes of fasting, but don't fret. I'm going to take you over this stuff again. You know, this week serves as just information to let you know what is expected of you. But when Ramadan begins, I'll continue with the fiqh of fasting, and I'll walk you through it each day. I'll go over this stuff again with you. I'll let you know what's expected of you, you know, as the month progresses. I hope that's clear to everyone. Okay, but for tonight, I want you to take screenshots and take notes of everything I'm going to present, because I'm going to go over the Sunnans, or the etiquettes of fasting. So let me take my stuff down so you will be able to screenshot. Well, and let's see. How do I? Okay, there's one. What else? Oh, this needs to come down too. All right. Wait a minute. Hold on. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. Wrong one. This one. Okay. And let me start off with the people on. Okay, I can close that up. Let me start off with the people on Zoom. Yeah. Okay. Let me have you share my screen to my PowerPoint. And now for the rest of you, you're going to see black for a minute, but I'm going to, don't worry. And this is a beautiful, I want you guys to look at this setting. This is a full moon. You know, that's what a full moon looks like. You're going to be welcoming that full moon next month. You're going to be outside looking for that full moon, you know, toward after the second week. I'm telling you. And that moon means a lot for me too, because it's the moon of the wolf. That's the night of the wolf. Subhanallah. It's a good night, the night of the wolf. So anyway, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys see my PowerPoint? This is going to be a lot of information, but don't fret. I will review this and go over all of this information with you guys again when Ramadan begins. But tonight, what we're going to do is speak about the etiquettes and the Sunnans. And when we talk about Sunnans, these are things that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did when fasting. You and I don't have to do these things, but we'll do them because of the benefit. And I'll let you know what's a Sunnan and what's a pillar. Remember, you guys as my students should realize there are pillars to everything. The pillars of the Shahada. What's the pillars of the Shahada? Number one, you have to have a sincere intention. Okay. Then you got pillars of, we talked about pillars of belief. Pillars of faith. What are the pillars of faith? Okay. Then and so now there are pillars of fasting too. So we're going to go over some of the pillars and the Sunnans, and we're going to speak about their etiquettes. And I'm trying to log in so I can watch my screen too, so I can see if there's a problem here. All right. So take a screenshot of this page. And then at the end of the class, you'll print it out, because this will be the first. And that's the title for the page, The Etiquette and Sunnans of Fasting. Okay, let's get started. One of the things, and this is for Sister Sandra, we do not fast the whole day. When we fast, we don't fast like the Christians do. Okay, our fast is different. We fast from Fajr until Maghrib. So what does that mean? When the adhan for Fajr is pronounced in the morning, that's when you stop drinking, you stop eating, and you begin your fast. When the adhan is pronounced for Maghrib, that's when we break our fast. And we can eat up until the adhan. Do you guys understand that? There's some Muslims that follow madhabs. Remember, I don't teach you guys from any madhab. I teach you from the understanding of the companions. That's why my dawah is different than any of these other people. You'll never hear me talking about what the imams, the four imams said. You know, I'm going to always give you what the companions said because I know what they said. Okay? And I know that nobody, not even the four imams, understood this religion better than them. And if the companions have spoken, there's no need to look at what the four imams said anyway. What do I need to look to see what they said when I heard it from the true original sources? So you can eat, and I want y'all to write this down, new shahadas. You can eat until the adhan for Fajr, because you're going to have some Muslims telling you, oh, my sister, you should stop eating at least 15 minutes to be sure. Who said that? Allah didn't say that. The Prophet didn't say that. And the companions didn't do that. They ate up until the adhan for Fajr. So I want y'all, and we're going to go over this again. Listen to what my dalil is. Listen to what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. I'm not telling you what Imam Hanafi said. I'm giving you what the Prophet said. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to eat sahur, because sahur is a blessing. And what is sahur? This is that Arabic word that we were talking about earlier that speaks about the breakfast. You know, the breakfast, what we call in English breakfast, and it can be anything you want. You know, eat. You know, Islam encourages us to eat sahur because it's a blessing. What is the blessing? Even if it's one apple, even if it's a bowl of cereal, even if it's just a glass of milk, a cup of tea, Allah will cause whatever it is that you are eating before to sustain you until the end of the day when we break it. That's the blessing. Write that down. And I want the children to understand that too. You know, you don't have to eat sahur. Sometimes I don't eat it because I just oversleep or something. But it's good to eat it because Allah will cause whatever it is, even if it's a Pop-Tart. If you just eating a Pop-Tart, Allah will cause that Pop-Tart to get you through, to sustain you until the end of the day. Everybody understand that? Also, there's another hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said eating the sahur is not only a blessed food, but it also differentiates us from the other people. The Christians don't have sahur. The Jews don't eat sahur. And a good sahur is dates. Now, this is a question that Sister Sandra asked me yesterday. She wanted to know why is it that Muslims break their fast and begin their fast with dates? She was saying she doesn't care for them, and she doesn't care for figs either. Do you have to eat dates? No. If you don't like dates, don't eat dates. It could be a banana, an orange. It could be some eggs and turkey bacon. It can be pancakes. It can just be some tea, some coffee. Okay? But the reason why the Prophet ate dates is, number one, dates was a staple in the desert. And number two, dates are a blessed food because they contain enough natural sugar to get you through the fasting day. And I learned this from my doctor, Dr. Hussein, Dr. Hussein. And she taught me that. She said the reason why you should eat dates is because it's a natural sugar. When you're fasting, we get headaches. What causes the headache? It's because your sugar level has dropped. So if you eat dates in the morning, that'll help keep your sugar level from dropping. And the reason we break our fast with dates for the same reason. If you guys notice, as soon as you break your fast, that headache goes away. Because you've gotten some sugar in your body. Your sugar level went up. So that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a good breakfast for the believer is dates, because dates have a natural sugar content in them that'll help you get through your fasting day without that headache and that tiredness, fatigue. Okay, so that's the first thing I want all the new shahadas, to understand. You should try to eat sahur before you begin your fasting day, and you can eat up until the adhan. When the adhan for Fajr is called, don't eat anything else. Or if you have something in your mouth, you can spit it out when the adhan is being called. Okay? You don't have to stop eating 10 minutes or 15 minutes before. And the same when it's time to break fast. You don't want to hesitate to break your fast either. You want to break your fast as soon as possible. Is that clear to everyone? You don't want to hold off. And I'm going to talk about this because a lot of Muslims, you come in contact with Shiites. This is how you can tell who the Shiites are. The Shiites do not break their fast on time. The Shiites will tell you to not break your fast until the red disappears from the sky. Well, if you wait for the red to disappear, that means Maghrib is over. That's Isha. That's how we can tell what time is Isha. Isha begins when the red disappears. So you're breaking your fast too late. You have to break your fast as soon as possible. Again, when the adhan is called. When the adhan is called, that's when you break for Maghrib. That's when you break your fast. Or if you're out traveling, you see you see the red coming to the sky, then that means it's time for Maghrib. Does everybody understand? And we're going to talk more in details about this. And if there's no food for you to eat to break your fast with, just the intention in your heart is breaking the fast. You don't suck your thumb. You don't suck your finger. You don't slip, spit, or whatever these innovators tell you to do. But I'm going to tell you, sisters, you shouldn't be out in the streets at that time. You should try to make it a habit to be at home to break your fast, because you are the guardian over your children, and your children are fasting and they need to eat on time. Plus, as Muslim women, as I tell you all the time, our blessings is at home, not in the street. You need the Ramadan definitely ain't the month for you sisters to be out in the street. Y'all better have y'all butts at home. Okay, but if you are out in the street, the intention in your heart to break that, that the fact that it's time to break fast, that's how your fast is broken. But we'll talk about that on another date. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said the people will, wait a minute. Oh, my little thing. I hit the wrong button. Hold on, let me go back. Oh, wait a minute. How do you go back on here? Wait a minute, let me move the mic. Sorry. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the people will be okay as long as they do not delay breaking the fast. Iftar means the breaking of the fast. So you don't want to be like the Shiites waiting until the red is gone. You break it as soon as that adhan is called. You make sure you're at home. You make sure we're going to talk about being organized, because Ramadan is the month of organizing yourself. Okay. When that adhan is pronounced, you break your fast, even if it means drinking some water. Everybody understand that? And that brings us, again, I basically answered this question, but Sister Sandra, what do you break your fast with? You can break your fast with anything. Anything that entails drinking or eating. The Prophet used to use fresh dates, and I told you why. And if he didn't have fresh dates, he would use dried dates. And if he didn't have any dates at all, he would just take a few sips of water. So if you are out doing errands, which you shouldn't be, we're going to talk about that. You women are going to have to learn where you should be during the month of Ramadan, which is at home in your house. As Allah says, your home is better for you. Ramadan is the month to get out of those bad habits of hanging out in the streets like the Kafir women do. Okay? But if you have to be out, say, for example, you have to pick the children up from school and they get out of school at the same time that the sun sets. That's different. Or say, for example, you have to run to the grocery store to get something, or the baby needs some milk, so you got to leave. Make sure you carry a bottle of water with you. Keep a bottle of water in your car so you can take a few sips of water. Real easy. Okay? So it doesn't have to be dates. It could be anything that is food or water. It can even be candy, chewing gum or something. Anything that entails digesting, putting it in your mouth and swallowing it. Okay? And a lot of sisters ask, well, is there a certain supplication or is there a certain thing that we should say when we break our fast? Well, yes, and here it is. I want everyone to take a screenshot. Let me make the whole slide. I'm going to put the whole slide here. Take a screenshot. This is the supplication. This is one of them. This is one of the supplications that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say before breaking his fast. He would say, thirst is gone, the veins are flowing again, and the reward is certain, inshallah. And I have it in the Arabic there too. And I wrote it in phonetics. You should be able, let me check my phonetics. Dhahaba, that's just how it sounds. Dhahaba el-zama. I'm trying to read it like I don't know it. Wabtalat el-uruq. Yeah, I wrote it pretty good. Watabit el-ajru. Inshallah. Y'all see that? This is one of them. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to take screenshots of this. I know the sister's trying to work their phone. Oh, my goodness. Yes, that's another one too. Another sister just texted me. Another one you can say is, "Oh Allah, for thy sake have I fasted." That's the one I say. "Oh Allah, for your sake have I fasted. Now I break my fast with sustenance provided by you." Yeah, that's another one. That's the one I say. But this is the one that a lot of other people say. Y'all got the screenshot? Teach it to your children. And I wrote it in the English phonetics. Okay? And yes, you can say it in English. Yes. So that brings us to the next question. How should we spend the day when we're fasting? Well, we do not spend the day committing sins. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when any of you is fasting, do not commit sins. So we're not going to spend our fasting time sneaking and smoking cigarettes. That's why you brothers and sisters who smoke, y'all better have the Nicoderm patches and be using them now to kick that habit. And you can take the Nicoderm patches during Ramadan too. They don't break the fast. We'll talk about that later in the week. But not just that, you have to watch what you say out your mouth too. No arguing in the house. No fighting. No profanity. No backbiting. No gossip. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever does not stop lying or speaking falsehood, Allah has no need of him fasting. So we have to be careful to control our tongue and control our actions when we're fasting. And all of these hadiths are authentic. They're all Bukhari. I put the source for y'all. Okay? Everybody got the screenshot? All right. What about this? There are certain sins that will sneak up on you when you're fasting, and they'll eat away at your rewards. Backbiting and gossip are the main ones. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it may be that a person who is fasting will get nothing except hunger, because you spent the whole time backbiting on the telephone, talking to your friends, or gossiping, or arguing with your brothers and sisters, arguing with your wife, arguing with your husband, arguing on the internet with the non-Muslims. You know, you can't spend your fasting time doing that. Otherwise, you're getting no reward. All you did is starve yourself. Okay? And there are other sins that'll sneak up on you and take away your reward too, such as watching television. I mean, I'm not saying you can't watch TV when you fast. You can. And I encourage it for the children, for the 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids. You know, let them take a break and go watch some cartoons when you see the day is getting long and and you see they struggling. Let them take their mind off the fast for a couple of hours and play Xbox. You know, when my grandsons come and fast with me, you know, the 2 hours before it's time to break fast is when they start acting crazy. So I'll tell them, go put the Xbox on. Y'all can go on the big screen TV, and I let them spend the last 2 hours playing Xbox, because it takes them through the day and it gets their mind off of it. So we're not saying you can't watch TV, but we're saying don't spend the whole day doing that. Don't be that beer-gutted man who sits on the couch with his beer watching football all day or watching basketball all day. And like I said, you sisters, we don't spend the time hanging out in the streets either, going to the mall. I know a lot of Muslim women that think they're going to pass the time by, so they hang out at the mall all day. Take your behind home, because you ain't getting no reward for your fast. You don't hang out in the streets. We don't spend the fasting time wasting it with idle stuff, playing games all day and idle gatherings, or driving around town just to drive around. Or some people sleep all day. That's going to be the big one. A lot of people, Muslims I know, they sleep all day, wake up at Maghrib, eat, and then they stay up all night and go back to sleep at Fajr. No, you're losing rewards. There's so many good deeds that you could be doing that you're not doing. You're just wasting your opportunity. And we're going to talk in more detail about this during the month of Ramadan. I'm going to give you suggestions of things to do. And also, for the kids here, when you're fasting, do not allow other people to make you angry and get you to fight with them. Now, you may hear a lot of people say that Layla's angry. I don't get angry. I'm a woman who has a loud voice because I'm speaking publicly, and I'm supposed to have it. I don't get angry on this internet. Very seldom. Very rarely do I get angry. I just have to check people. That's my job as a dawah. If I was angry, you know it, because I don't talk when I'm angry. I don't speak at all. Okay? But what you kids are going to have to realize, if your siblings, your little brother, your little sister tries to aggravate you, to get on your nerves, you know, you have to remind them that you're fasting. Say, look, I'm not going to fight with you. I am not going to argue with you. And you say it out loud. I'm fasting. I'm fasting. And the reason you say it out loud is to remind yourself and them that this is not the time for that. So if your little brother or little sister wants to pick a fight with you, you say, no, I am fasting. I am fasting. And you sisters do the same. Your husbands come home in a bad mood. He having a bad day. Tell him, I'm fasting. I'm fasting. Go to the mosque. Send your husbands to the mosque. And we're going to talk about that during Ramadan. Because the rewards for your husband during the fasting that time is at the mosque, not at home with you. So if your husband comes home trying to take his frustrations out, you just tell him, you got to go. Get out of here. Go to the mosque with your frustrations. I am fasting. I am fasting. Okay? And there's the source, Bukhari. And also, during the month of Ramadan, you don't want to be a pig. A lot of Muslims will pig out at night. Oh, God, this is a big problem with the Arabic women and the Somali women and the Bosnian women, all cultures. You know, they spend the whole day just cooking all these lavish meals. Enough to feed an army of people. You shouldn't be doing that. And then you up all night, you know, overeating. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the son of Adam feels no worse vessel than his stomach. Look at how overweight we are. You know, we sit there spending all our time eating all night long, getting fat, getting lazy, getting tired. You don't want to overdo it. Just eat a little bit and then drink a little bit so you can get up and go and pray. And you can do the tarawih. And then later on at night, go back and eat a little bit more. Drink a little bit more. And then go pray again. Then you can come back and eat a little more. Do it in small increments. Don't sit there overeating. And we're going to talk more in detail about that when Ramadan begins. And remember, the time is supposed to be spent remembering Allah. And how do we remember Allah? By learning the religion. Like I said, this website, my classes will continue. You know, a lot of people stop doing their lectures during Ramadan, and I don't understand why. I mean, I understand the brothers, because some of the brothers, because they're imams, like Mukhtar. Mukhtar has to deal with the masjid and stuff, okay? So he's not going to have the time. But then there's other people I know, they stop all actions of ibadah. I'm like, why? This is the time to tighten up, to do more. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most generous of people in doing good. But he did more good during the month of Ramadan, when the angel Jibreel met with him. And Jibreel used to meet with the Prophet every night in Ramadan to teach him the Quran. So the month of Ramadan, this is when we get rewarded for all those voluntary good deeds. So you want to do more. I always tighten up my schedules. During the month of Ramadan, I keep the Zoom room is open 24 hours anyway. But during the month of Ramadan, I'm going to try to stream. I'll try to keep the stream open all day. So for those of you on Twitch, on YouTube, on Trovo, if you need guidance, you need help, I'll be here. You can log in and type on the screen, Sister Layla, I got a question. Or you can come into the Zoom room, Sister Layla. I try to make myself accessible even more during the month of Ramadan. Okay? Because we're supposed to spend the fasting time remembering Allah. And we want to do the good deeds that are pleasing to Allah. Help those who are in need. I am a dawah. So being that I am a dawah, I want to be accessible on this internet, where the kids can come in and ask me questions, where the new shahadas can come and ask me questions. The sisters can come in here and I'm accessible to them live. I want you guys to ponder this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in paradise, there are rooms whose outside can be seen from the inside, and the inside can be seen from the outside. And Allah has prepared these rooms for those who used to feed the poor, those who were kind in how they talked to others, and who fasted regularly, and who prayed at night when others are asleep. These are examples of good deeds you can do during Ramadan. Help those people who are less fortunate than you. I'm talking about Muslims. Those Muslim women who have to work because they don't have husbands. Cook a pot of food and take it to their house. Or women like me. I'm lailanasheeba. I'm alone. I ain't got no kids. You know I'm on the internet all day teaching. Stop by like Sister Carmetta did. Last Ramadan, Sister Carmetta and Sister Shamika came by my house and brought me food. Brought food for me to eat. Look at the rewards you getting. They know I don't have time to cook, plus I can't cook. Y'all know I try. I love it's a hobby, but I'm not getting no better at it. Well, that soup I made the other day was pretty good. But subhanAllah, do good deeds, to help others. You can pray the night prayer. The night prayer is not an obligation, but we do it because it brings a lot of reward. And again, for you to cook food and take it to the mosque for those brothers who don't have wives. Or cook some food and take a plate to Sister Layla who ain't got nobody to eat with. Or cook some food and take it to that sister over there who's got 5 children and no man. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, whoever gives food to a fasting person to break their fast with, you will get the reward of his fast without it taking from his fast. So you'll get the reward for Sister Layla's fast because you brought her a plate of food. You'll get the reward of that sister who's working with her 5 kids. You'll get all of their fast rewards because you brought them food to break their fast with. You'll get the reward of those brothers at the mosque who ain't got no wives. So that's a really good deed. A lot of you sisters ask me every Ramadan, what's something I can do, Layla? Cook food. And take an extra plate of food to a single sister or the brothers at the mosque or something. And other good deeds that bring a lot of reward is, again, the night prayer. Preparing yourself and your environment for worship. I talked about that yesterday. Clean up your house. Clean up your home. Make your house a place where the people can worship. Make a prayer room. Set one room aside just for the month of Ramadan. Turn the dining room that you never use. Or turn your office into a praying area as well. Okay? So people can go alone to be by themselves with Allah and talk. Also, spend a lot of time repenting. When you put the children to sleep at night, my classes are over. Sit down and talk to Allah. Ask Allah to forgive you of your sins. And for the brothers, you brothers should be at the mosque performing the Taraweeh prayer. And I'm going to talk about the Taraweeh prayer more next week. And also spend more time reading and pondering the meaning of the Quran. And for those of you who live in Mecca, make Umrah. And also for you brothers, do itikaf. Seclude yourself in the mosque for this month. Out on your wives and kids because you having a hard time with your taqwa and all of that. Go to the mosque and seclude yourself and get close to Allah. And also, this is the month of being more charitable. So these are all good deeds that bring a lot of reward during Ramadan. And again, I'm going to talk about these deeds in more detail as the month of Ramadan progresses. And finally, for today, I'm going to answer this question because every year you get these innovators and fanatics. There's nothing wrong with congratulating one another for the beginning of Ramadan. There's nothing wrong with Ramadan cards. There's nothing wrong with that. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to walk the streets of Medina announcing the arrival of Ramadan. He used to say, there has come to you Ramadan, a blessed month. Allah has made it obligatory upon you to fast this month. During this month, the gates of paradise are opened and the gates of hell are locked and the big devils are chained up. During this month is a night that is better than 1,000 months. And whoever is deprived of his goodness is deprived indeed. So don't listen to those extreme brothers that tell you that everything is haram. It's haram to be beautiful, haram to wear makeup, haram to wear colors, haram to be seen. You got to be naked and invisible. You know, then they tell you astaghfirullah, it's haram to congratulate people. Ramadan cards is imitating a kafir. Who said that? The Prophet Muhammad used to congratulate the Muslims. The Muslims would congratulate each other on the beginning of the month. This is our time. This is our month. This is our sacred day, our sacred month, rather. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. And again, I'm going to go over all these things with you again as the month of Ramadan comes in. So, but I wanted to just touch it now so that the new shahadas, you know, can know what's expected of them, because so many of them have questions about fasting because this is their first Ramadan. So that tells you some of the etiquettes, you know, to look forward to for this month. Are there any questions?